Hi guys, I'm back with another lecture of financial management. So before I start with the lecture, just a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Sandhya Rao, working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. In today's lecture, I'll be covering fourth unit and we'll be discussing about the working capital requirements. So why we actually need the working capital, what's the significance of it, and what it actually means. So, in the last lecture, we talked about the dividend decisions and why is it important, and what are the factors that affect dividend decision. So, in this lecture, we'll talk about working capital. So, most of you might have heard what working capital is or what it actually means. So, if I ask you what working capital is, what would you say? Can any of you just tell me what working capital actually means? Anybody? What working capital is, or what's the formula of working capital, or why we actually need it in company? Anybody? Okay, so I'll speak it up. So working capital basically means, see, it's a kind of capital. Okay, we all know that capital means money. So working capital means working money, which means that money which is required to conduct the day-to-day requirements, and there are so many expenses and so many things that need to be done on daily basis. So for that also we need some kind of money. We need finances for that. We need funds for that, and that is actually known as working capital. And it's a very important part of any company. If we talk about equity capital or debt capital, then we all know that that's very important. But working capital is also very important. Debt and equity capital are long-term capital. And when we talk about short run, then working capital is the short-term capital. It is required for a period less than 1 year. So that is why we call it short-term capital. Now, there are so many things that are done on daily basis. Example that electricity bill needs to be paid, telephone charges needs to be paid, and we have suppliers also. Then we have to pay them for the raw material which is being purchased. Also we have insured our assets, so for that also we need to pay premium, and so many other things are there, right? So to meet all these expenses we need to have some funds, and that is working capital. And if I give you the formula of working capital, it's current assets minus current liabilities. Now, what are current assets? Current assets means those assets which can be easily converted into cash within a period of, let's say, 12 months, okay? Or whatever the accounting period span is. During that period, if we are able to convert those assets into cash, we call them current assets. Examples are cash, accounts receivables, inventory, and other short-term investments. They are all current assets. Now, with all these current assets, one thing that is common in all of them is liquidity. Now, what this liquidity means? Liquidity means that something which can be easily converted into cash. So now there's a difference between current assets and liquid assets. Liquid assets are those assets which can be instantly converted into cash. Example, cash in hand, cash at bank, and marketable securities. These are highly liquid securities. Okay, it's very much possible that some of your stock might not be getting cleared, or it might take some time of, let's say, 1 month, 2 months. So you do not have any certain period of time in mind that you'll be able to convert it into cash. But when we talk about cash at bank, you can just go and you can withdraw the amount from the ATM, or you can draw a check and you can take the amount home. So it's very easy and it's very quick. Unlike the other assets, let's say inventory, or other any other short term investment that you have made, there may be short term investment also, let's say it's for 4 months, or let's say 6 months. then before the maturity period, you cannot withdraw that amount. And if you try to withdraw that amount, then you will have to pay some penalty charges for that. So liquid assets are different from current assets. Liquid means something which can easily and instantly be converted into cash. Now, working capital is required to maintain liquidity of the company. Now, what are current liabilities? So just like current assets, current liabilities are also those liabilities which needs to be paid within a period of 1 year or before the end of the accounting period. Okay, whatever accounting period you are following, some countries follow it for 12 months, some follow it for 10 months, some follow it for 14 months. Whatever time period you are following, you can pay it accordingly. Okay, before the maturity period of that accounting period. Now, working capital helps us to run our operations smoothly. It helps us for the smooth functioning of our business. Okay. So before I start with these ratios, I want to give you an example which will make it very clear that why it's important to study about working capital. Okay. So if you could see this cycle, we have made purchases of raw material. Then we have converted the raw material into finished goods. After the finished goods, we'll take some time to sell it off because it's not very obvious that all the goods will be sold off immediately once they are produced. It takes some time. Now, once they are sold off, some people are there which might not pay cash, okay, which might not uh, take away the goods or whatever services you are providing on cash. They might take it on credit. So they will take some time before they actually pay you the cash. Now, this entire cycle, which is going on from beginning from the time you purchase the raw material till the time you actually realize the cash, this entire cycle is known as operating cycle. Okay, and this operating cycle actually makes the working capital even more important. Because of this working capital, we actually need the because of this operating cycle, we actually need the working capital. Now, suppose the purchase of raw material takes 30 days, okay, because you have to get the raw material from some other country or let's say some other place which is quite far from your place, and it will take some time, and let's say the time is 30 days. Now again, the processing will take some time. You will have to process the raw material to make it a finished goods, so that also let's say take 10 days, and during that time period you can call them work in progress. Your assets, your raw material will be termed as work in progress inventory. Okay, now after they are produced, they are being produced, you will take some time to sell it off. So let's say it takes 20 days to clear the stock. Now once it's clear, the debtors will take some time. You cannot say that you have realized the cash once you have made the sale. Okay, because there are two kinds of sales that happen in any business: cash sales and credit sales. When you are doing cash sales, it means you are realizing the cash instantly. But when you're doing credit sale, it means that the cash will be realized at a later stage or at a later point of time. Now, it means that you will be getting the cash after this entire cycle ends. Okay. So if I total the gap, 30 plus 10 plus 20 plus 30, it becomes 90 days. It means you will have to wait for 90 days to actually realize the cash. Now, who is going to wait for these 90 days? Are you not going to incur any expenses during these 90 days? That's not possible. You will be incurring certain costs and certain expenses during these 90 days. And for every business to run smoothly, you have to pay those expenses, you have to clear those costs on time so as to maintain the image in the market. And what kind of expenses are these going to be? You have to pay for the raw material that you have purchased. You might have to pay the salary of your workers. You might have to pay the rent on the land that you are doing all these exercise. You might have to make some repayment also, and other marketing expenses might also be there when you are selling off the goods. So all these expenses, how you're going to finance them, from where are the funds going to come from? Because you are not going to receive the funds till 90 days. So During this operating cycle, you are going to use the working capital. Okay, this is why the working capital is one of the most important component when we study financial management. So to meet all these expenses, we need working capital. Okay, and if the operating cycle becomes too huge, becomes too lengthy, then the working capital will also increase. The working capital requirement will also increase. And if the operating cycle is very small, then you won't need much working capital. You can easily do with small amount of working capital. So you should always try to cut short the operating cycle, because if the cycle is too long, it just means that you are not working efficiently. Okay, you're not operating optimally. You're not operating on optimum level. Let's start with an example. Let's say there's a shop, there's a sports shop, and there's a cricket academy. Okay. Now the cricket academy places an order with the sports shop, who orders place करते हैं, and the sports shop supplies the जो भी उनकी requirements होती है, they supply it to the cricket academy. Now, case one, we assume कि the academy places an order for 10 bats, which means the academy को 10 bats चाहिए, and sports shop will have to supply them with the 10 bats. अब एक bat की cost is 100 rupees, and the price, which means the selling price of one bat, is 150 rupees. Okay, this will remain same in all the cases. Now, अब होता क्या है, स्पोर्ट्स कंपनी जो है, इट इज मेंटेनिंग एन कैश बैलेंस ऑफ 50,000, and they are operating on just in time theory, which means that they are not maintaining any inventory, and whenever the requirement will be there, whenever there's an order being placed by someone else, then they will get the inventory, or only then they will supply the goods or whatever services they are dealing in. Okay, so it means that they are having no inventory. Now, with cash of 50,000 and zero inventory, let's see how the sports shop operates its business. Now the cricket company, the cricket academy has placed an order for 10 bats, and since the shop owner is not maintaining zero inventory, so he goes to another shop and he asks for 10 bats. Now the another shopkeeper says that you will have to wait for 7 days. Even I don't have the stock with me right now. Okay. Now, do you think a customer will wait for 7 days if he has other options available in the market? Obviously not. He will go to some other place where get the he can get the bats. Okay, so he will cancel your order, and your order will be cancelled. So in this case, you have lost a good customer, and you have lost the profit also, because in this case, if there is no sales happening, there will be no profit also. So let's see what happens. See, before I continue with the example, I want to tell you that working capital formula is current assets minus current liabilities. And in current assets, we take cash, we take inventory, we take bill receivables or account receivable, you can call it, or in current liabilities, we'll take bill account payable, and any other loan repayment, or let's say creditors and all these things. Okay. So here in this example, we have cash, we have inventory, and we'll take bill receivables or account receivables. Okay. So in this case, if you could see, cash is 50,000. There is no change in the cash balance because there was no sales happening. So cash is same at 50,000. There is no inventory, zero inventory. Since there was no sale, and if there is no sale, there is no point of credit sale. So there is no account receivable also. So this is also zero. And there is no creditor. So liability is also zero. So your working capital is 50,000 only. And since there was no sale, there was no cost incurred. So the profit is also zero. So it's a no loss, no profit kind of a situation. Let's see if it's a good situation or a bad situation. Okay, let's move on to the second example, second case. Now in this case, the shopkeeper has become a little smart, and he has started to keep some amount of inventory with himself. So he has kept an inventory worth rupees 2 lakhs. Now again, the sports academy comes to the shopkeeper and he places the same order again of 10 bats, and he says that he make the payment in cash. So the cost that the shopkeeper is going to incur will be 10 into 100, because one bat costs rupees 100. So if he is placing an order for 10 bats, so 10 into 100, which means 1,000 rupees will be the cost. Now the selling price is 150 per bat, and if he's selling 10 bats, so he will charge 150 into 10, which means 1500 will be the selling price, or you can say the sales of 1500 is happening. Now let's see what the working capital is in this case. Now see here, the cash balance will change. He has maintained a cash balance of 50,000, and when he makes a sale, and especially a cash sale, it means that he is receiving cash. So 1500 additional cash has been received by the shopkeeper. So now the new cash balance is 51,500. Also the inventory will reduce now because he has sold off some inventory. So earlier it was 2 lakh, and since he has sold off 1000, he has sold off inventory worth rupees 1000. So the new inventory is 1,99,000. And bill receivable will be zero because there is no credit sales, and bills payable will also be zero. So this becomes 2,50,500. Okay, the working capital is 2,50,500. And the profit in this case is only 500. Sales was of 1,500, cost was of 1,000. So the profit is only 500. Okay. Let's move to another example and let's see what happens in this case. Now here in case 3, the sports academy has started to use their mind, and they says that why to pay cash on any purchase, we'll buy it on credit. Okay, so this time again they places an, and also they says that they'll increase the order size. So they have placed an order for 1,000 bats this time, and they say that they'll make the payment after 30 days. So the cost price will become 1,000 into 100. Okay, one bat cost rupees 100. So if he's getting 1,000 bats, so it will be 1,000. So the total cost will be, sorry, 1 lakh will be the total cost. And the price is 150 rupees. So the total sales will be 1,50,000. Now let's see the working capital. See, cash here will be 50,000 only because the sales are happening on credit basis. So there is no inflow of cash. Inventory here will be 2 lakh minus 1 lakh. Okay, because we have sold off inventory worth rupees 1 lakh. So the new inventory is only 1 lakh. Now there is bill receivables now. Why bill receivables? Because the sports academy have become your debtor now. They will be making the cash payment after a period of 30 days. So you will be transferring their amount in the bill receivable account. Okay, so sports academy will become your debtor from an amount of 1,50,000, and bills payable is again zero in this case. So the working capital becomes 3 lakh, and profit here becomes 1,50,000 minus 1 lakh, which is 50,000. Okay, let's see another case. Now here the shopkeeper has become very smart, and he says that if the sports academy is taking the goods from me on credit, why should I pay my suppliers on cash basis? I should also avail the credit facility from my supplier. So now in this case, he purchases the inventory of 2 lakh on credit basis. He says to his supplier that I will also make you the payment after a period of some time, let's say 2 months or 3 months or whatever credit period have been given to him. Okay. And now again, the sports academy places an order of 1,000 bats. Again, he says that I'll make the payment after 30 days. In this case also, the cost will be 1 lakh, sales will be 1,50,000. Now here, cash will be 50,000 because there is no movement of cash, no inward, no outward movement. Inventory will reduce because you have made sales of 1 lakh rupees. Okay? So your new inventory will be only 1 lakh, which means 2 lakh minus 1 lakh. Again, your sports academy will become a debtor from 1,50,000. So you have added that amount in your bill receivables. Okay, instead of writing debtor, we write account receivables or bill receivables these days. Okay, since the schedule 6 has changed and we use the new format of balance sheet. Since then, we call the debtors as our account receivables and not debtors. And Here bills payable also have changed. It's not zero in this case. Why it's not zero? Because we have certain liability. We also have to make payment to our suppliers of rupees 2 lakh, because if we have bought the inventory on credit and not on cash basis. So that is why our bills receivable have changed. They have become 2 lakhs now. So in this case, the working capital comes out to be 1 lakh and the profit is 50,000. So if we do a comparison, if we check all the four cases, you can see that in first case, the working capital was 50,000 and the profit was zero. In second case, the working capital was 2,50,000 and the profit was only 500. In third case, working capital was 3 lakh, profit was 50,000. In fourth case, the working capital was 1 lakh and the profit was 50,000. So which situation is a better situation according to you? See, we all know that when we are earning good profits, we always are in a better situation. But if we are having huge amount of working capital, that adds a additional burden on us, okay, because this kind of working capital is not fetching us any kind of return, okay, unlike other investments where we can, we can invest that amount in some useful project, in some useful scheme or any other strategy. Here we only use this capital for daily basis expenses, so it's not fetching us any return. So huge amount of working capital means you are wasting your funds, you are wasting your finances, okay. So you should never have huge amount of working capital. So which situation is better according to you out of all these four cases? The fourth situation is the better situation out of all the given options. Why? Because in this case, the working capital requirement is least, it's 1 lakh, and profit is also maximum, that is 50,000. Now, you would say, ma'am, that the working capital requirement is least in first case. Okay, it's only 50,000, I agree, but the profit is zero. We also want to earn profits here. So, with 50,000 as profit, we are having 3 lakh in case 3 as working capital and 1 lakh as working capital in case 4. So if I evaluate these two options, then out of these two options, option 4 is the best option. 1 and 2 are out of the picture because in first you are having no profits, and in the second option you are earning very low profits, and also your working capital requirement is very high. So the only two options that are left with is third and fourth, and out of these two, fourth option is the best option. So we should always aim for low working capital and maximum profits. Okay, so this is the conclusion. So option 4 is the best option. Okay, now okay, so I told you that in the operating cycle, we have inventory and we have accounts receivable. Okay, accounts receivable period means the period after the sales have been made till the time you are going to realize the cash. This entire period is known as accounts receivables period. And inventory period is till the, it starts from the time you have purchased the raw material till the time the finished goods have been produced. So operating cycle comprises of these two periods, inventory period plus accounts receivable period. Inventory period can also be termed as holding period, and accounts receivable period can also be termed as collection period, because during that period um, you're going to collect your sales proceeds. So we'll get more into the details in the subsequent lectures. I'm ending it here. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me, you can post questions. So this is it. Thank you guys.